3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. If you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 336-464-1806. Mark, 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. Stations, we're coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, mark. 1 minute stations, 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Coming up on 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds stations. Have fun.
On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield, welcome to the Rice Owls Basketball Show with Scott Pera and Lindsay Edmonds. Now to lead things off, here's the voice of the Owls, JP Heath.
Welcome back. The penultimate edition of the Rice Owls Basketball Show here. We're on the Rice Owls Facebook and YouTube pages and on the audio outlets on the Rice Owls Game Day app, the Varsity Network app, and riceowls.com. Of course, Lindsay Edmonds right here. We have DJ Destiny Jackson coming up next segment. And then Scott Pera will be on to talk about the Owls' 2 big wins this week. And then we have the all-time three-point leader in Rice Owls history, the one and only big bad Bostonian Travis Evie, joining us as well. It's a mouthful, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. This broadcast brought to you by Cough Drops and Mucinex. I guess I should hide. Kleenex box, a little bit professional there, but I know it was a tough week. I guess we'll start with the most recent game against Temple. Following it, it was just so close. You got back really close, but with the difference there, the first and the third quarters for them when they shot so well, and you got it back close. What would the difference end up being there?
You know what? Traditionally, statistics prove that Temple wasn't a great three-point shooting team, right? And they were really good at scoring in the paint. They were really good at scoring off of offensive rebounds. They were really good at scoring off of turnovers that led to transition points for them. So we mixed up, our wild, which is our 1-3-1, and our man, and unfortunately, they were able to get some good looks early on. I don't know if that gave them confidence. The game before they were 2 for 18 from the three-point line. And then for our game to go 10 for 17 was, a great improvement for them, right? So we had an opportunity to still guard those shots, but yeah, I think we just got off to a slow start. I thought we competed and we clawed back a couple times. It got it to 5 or 4. It felt like 6, but then they would like go back on the run and answer again. So I feel like we just dug ourselves too big of a hole to begin with against a good basketball team.
And in the game against Memphis, another close one that came down to the wire. No, coaches hate hearing the talk about the close losses, but one that could have gone either way. What made the difference up in that end, coming down to the wire there?
Yeah.
Overtime loss.
Yeah, I thought, again, a pretty slow start for us, but then by the fourth quarter, we took the lead, and then we had some empty possessions down the stretch that either we got shots up that didn't fall, or we didn't get shots up and they got turnovers. They hit some big threes. A post player for them hit 2 threes in the game that we weren't banking on going in either. And they made some plays down the stretch. Obviously went into overtime, and we fell a little bit short there in overtime. But you're right. The no moral victories. You don't want to come up on the losing end ever, no matter where you're at, who you're playing against, any of the things. But there's things that we're still learning. There's things that we can pull from these losses. I sent out a text message today about one crack doesn't mean that you're broken, and we've had obviously more than one crack, but it doesn't mean that we're broken. It doesn't mean that we cannot still do this, and we just need to use this week to regroup and refresh and get back to it and be prepared for Saturday against North Texas.
Malia Fisher's been on a tear lately. I know a lot of that is her getting healthy. What's gone into that? Because she's just keep playing like this. Keep playing lights out. What's gone into that? Yeah,
she's been great. She's a rhythm player, right? So before her injury, she was playing really, really well, and then she had an unfortunate stretch where she had to be out for the injury. And then when she got back, the first game back was at South Florida. She just wasn't in rhythm, and so it took her probably a game or two to get back in rhythm. And then she's been really good for us ever since. There's just so many things that Malia can do that no one else can do, right? She has the ability to use her athleticism and her size and to be able to stretch around defenders or jump up over defenders to score the basket, get rebounds, help us with assists. I think her and DJ do a tremendous job of our defense after we score, her getting deflections, DJ pressure in the point guard. And so there's just so many things that she can bring to our team. But I think she's just back in rhythm and feeling good about herself and feeling like, okay, now I'm back. She didn't feel that way before, probably.
When you have two losses like that that are pretty tough, what do you see as the big key coming out emphasizing in a practice or after? Or is there even anything you emphasize coming out when you're so close in something like that? Do you not want to pay it too much attention, or do you try to say, hey, do this here for this segment, or try to move on quickly?
Yeah, I've struggled with that because sometimes after games I want to point out the things that we could have done better and learn and think we can learn from it and grow from it and be better the next game. And then there's times that they're like, okay, just push it to the side. Let's not even bring it up again. Let's just move forward. Let's just look forward. So I think with the way this fell, with us having a bye week in the middle of the week, and the young ladies they were off today and they're off tomorrow, and then they're going to have some skill groups on Wednesday. So by the time we're all back together again, I probably won't even break this down, because at that point it's 4 days removed, right? So why go back? So let's just keep moving forward. Let's do whatever it takes to be ready for North Texas, and maybe I can pull some players to the side here or there, hey, here's a couple of things that you could work on, but to have the film session to bring up the past, we probably would just move on.
Yeah, you got to have that right coaching touch. No win is the right time, right? So the last 2 games coming up, by the way, this is the last show for Coach in person. We'll still hear from her coming up in next week because they'll be on the road at UTSA. I've really loved these settings, getting to talk with you, but the last 2 games, you can move up to third, you can move down on the standings, you could stay exactly right where you are. How do you gauge? Obviously, I know you well enough, your answer. Most coaches say, we're just going to worry about what's in front, but it'd be a big deal if you could get one of those top 4 seeds. How do you balance that?
Yeah, it would be tremendous. I was really fortunate to be at NC State for 8 years, and I saw the benefit of having those double buys for a lot of the time. And so by the time you're getting there, like teams are going home, right? That's a huge bonus, a huge benefit. And so I want that for our players. I want that for our program. But you're right. Right now, I am just worried about our players getting our mojo back, getting our confidence back, feeling good about ourselves, and hoping that everything else can just kind of take care of itself once we get that feeling back. So I'm really focused on how do we make practice on Thursday be the best practice possible. How do we do that again on Friday? And then let's win North Texas. And if we win, North Texas, if we win UTSA, then all that's taken care of. But if I'm putting it over their head, like we could be this or we could be that, then they're going to be playing with more pressure. I know that they want to get back in the win column so bad already. And if me adding in the rankings and the seedings on top of them, I'm afraid that it's just too much for them to handle. So I just want them to play basketball the way I know that they're capable of playing, and we'll do whatever it takes on Thursday and Friday in practices to make sure that happens.
And you haven't had a lot of situations bouncing back from a couple losses in a row, but how have you seen them jump back from defeat earlier? They're a very resilient and tough bunch, like you've talked about a number of your other interviews. How have you seen them handle those?
Yeah, I mentioned a text message I sent out today. We had another young lady, Ashlyn, send out a text to the group today. And I think they're just incredibly resilient and tough, and they care about one another. They care about this program. So I have no doubt that they're using these 2 days to do exactly what I told them to do in the locker room: refresh, regroup, walk away from it, but be ready to come back and find what it is that's going to make us tick the most right now, right? Like what made us tick in November may not be the same as in January, and what made us tick in January is not the same as it is right now. So we need to find that tick again and figure that out, like what gets us going as a group. And if we can figure that out by Saturday, then I like our chances of being able to bounce back. But again, I think they care so much about the name across their chest, and they want to represent it well, and they want to represent each other well and have each other's backs. So again, I have no doubt that they're ready to bounce back and show our toughness. It's on our the wall in our locker room for a reason.
So this is the last show because of travel for you here in person until next week, but with so much still the season left, what have you learned about the team this year, even though there's still a lot left, hopefully, still a lot of ball left? But what I wanted to get that since we had this massive new light we have here. It's amazing, under the bright light, so to speak. But what's the identity you've noticed? Because I think it's deep enough in the season where it's a fair question to ask. What's the identity and the kind of thing that makes them tick this year?
You know what? I think each other makes them tick, right? I've said it from the beginning of the year, like this is the closest group that I've ever coached. And they truly care about one another. They truly love one another. They choose to hang out with one another. They choose to live together. They choose to go to dinners together and hangouts together. And they choose to watch film together, even when I tell them that they don't have to watch film together. And so I just think they're a really special close-knit group. And even after the tough losses, like going back to practice with them has never been a day that I'm like, oh man, how am I going to get them going? They show up every day. They show up ready to get better. They show up with a smile on their face, and they are determined to be better. They came up with their own thing of the juice woman, and so there's a different person every practice that's wearing this juice jersey, and they're supposed to be the loudest person in practice, and it's been so fun to see. And that's something they did on their own, right? And so they're just really, really special, and I want this year to represent how special they are off the court. I want to represent it on the court and do it on the court for them. And so they're one of my favorite groups, and I don't want the season to end. I want us to keep playing. I want us to play for as long as we can and win as many games as we can.
Yeah, speaking of special on the court, perfect segue. You didn't know it. Our next guest, Destiny Jackson, the one senior, as far as my intel, on the roster that will be recognized. I know Fatou Sam is a senior, but she has the eligibility to come back. But hosting North Texas for Senior Day. Tell us about the Mean Green and what it means honoring DJ coming up.
Yeah, North Texas is a tremendous team. They've been playing well all year long. With a new coaching staff, I think they have a ignited fire to get things going and to play hard for him. And they have been competing really well. They have 2 post players that score the ball really well in the paint. They defend, they rebound, and then they have some quick guards around them that can also shoot the 3. So it's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a great challenge, but I think we'll be up for it. Excuse me. And then senior day, it's always an emotional day, right? It's an emotional day to celebrate those that have been here, that have been pouring their blood, sweat, and tears into Rice University. And DJ's done it for a long time. She's done it for 5 years. And she could have left from here, and she could have moved on, but she chose to stay here for her 5th year. And it just means so much to me. I'm so grateful that I was able to coach her. I'm so grateful that I was able to see the growth in her over the last 3 years. It's been tremendous on and off the court. Pouring into DJ has been one of my favorite things, and I'm just really grateful for everything that she means for this program. I say it all the time. She doesn't say a lot, but she's going to lead by example, and she's going to be the one that does it the right way. And I tell DJ to take reps off in practice, and she doesn't do it. And she wins sprints every single day. I have no doubt that DJ is going to win the sprint. So she knows. And as a 5th-year senior to do that, you're pretty special, right? And so I think, we're excited to be able to celebrate her, and I hope we can go out with a win for her for the last time on Autry Court.
All right, Coach, thanks. And we'll have Destiny coming back up next segment. This is the Rice Owls Basketball Show. Destiny Jackson joining us on the couch. Rice Owls Basketball Show from Learfield.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great. When your next construction project needs to be on time and on budget, it's time to hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW716.net.
Owls fans, you may not think of yourself as an athlete, but everyday life is full of athletic feats. You bend, you reach, you lift, you twist until back, neck, or shoulder pain hits, which brings you to a stop. So whether you're an athlete or not, the Joint Chiropractic can help ease your pain and keep you on the active list. Visit any of our 40-plus Houston area locations or thejoint.com today to get your first consultation, exam, and adjustment for just $29. The Joint Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of Rice University Athletics.
Welcome back to the Rice Owls Basketball Show. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
We'll continue this conversation later. Welcome back on the Rice Owls Basketball Show. DJ doesn't need an explanation or introduction, but we will anyway. Destiny Jackson, one of the all-time greats here at Rice, 5th-year senior. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, just you're educating me during the break, something I should have known long ago. You're tied to a former Rice basketball player, but what's this mean to you as you heard Coach talk about you that might have made you blush a little bit now that you have so much more behind you than it's in front of you, and you stuck with it the whole way with Coach Langley, the coaching change, and now with Coach Edmonds here? What's it mean having this career, that's a successful career that's been behind you here?
Wow, it's insane how much confidence she's had in me since she came here. I'm so glad you came here. I'm so glad I stayed, because why would I not leave? Why would I not go anywhere? Because it's just great. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about all the accomplishments, but really just having her here, her believing in me, it's really great. And I don't think I would have done this without you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So glad that I say it all the time. I'm so thankful that I got to coach her. And it's been a joy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember most about that transition? I'm sure natural these days there was a thought, okay, what do I do here? What do I do here? But you're at Rice and the great education. What was that decision like, and what
Honestly,
made that decision for you?
Staying.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that hard of a decision.
Okay.
Like, I can adjust, I can adapt to anybody that comes in, and I did. And she had faith in me, so, I mean, sometimes that's all you need.
So if I told you 5 years ago or 4 years ago, you're going to be a 1,000-point scorer, top 20 all-time, 17th to be specific, 400 assists, 500 boards, all-time games played leader at Rice, would you believe me?
I don't know. Maybe, but I'm just so thankful for everything that coaches have done, my teammates, I love them so much, and just really just I don't know, just doing me, I'll say.
When was the point where things slowed down a little bit, where you could take a deep breath? Was that sophomore year? Some folks get it earlier than others. What was it for you?
When Coach came.
Okay.
I'll say towards the middle, I was kind of struggling at the beginning, but eventually I got my little groove going and I was fine. So right then and there, I was like, yeah.
You know, when I first got here, I think I started having conversations of like, okay, so, you know, to each of them, like how many years of eligibility, you know, what are you thinking for your last year, like all those things. And I'm not sure at that time where DJ stood with it. It was kind of like up in the air of, you know, I graduated in 2, but I don't know. And I remember in January of that year, I was like, listen, I don't know if you're ready to talk about this yet, but like, I want you to use your COVID year here with me leading this program, being the floor general on the floor. And when she said yes, I was like jumping up and down, screaming in the office. I was like, let's have a freaking party because DJ is definitely going to stay. And I knew that this program needed it. I knew I needed it. She's an extension of me on the floor. We're to a point now where I'm about to call a play and she's coming over to me at, on free throws and saying a play that I'm thinking in my head. And so I knew that this last year was going to be really special, and I was just so thankful that we were able to make it happen.
Am I remembering right? There was a position switch coming into the season. Mm-hmm. What was that like, dealing with that and adjusting to that here? I guess not a young player anymore, so that makes an easier transition. But what was it like for you going through that?
I think it wasn't that hard to adjust to it, but I mean, I think I always knew I was meant to be in that position, but. Mm-hmm.
So we have a few things in common you don't know about. From the Dallas area, we love our Owls, we love basketball. But also, I was an English major, not at Rice. But are you still an English major?
Yes.
I read that right in your bio? Yeah. That's a unique major among athletes. You have a lot of smart majors, obviously, at Rice. It's crazy. What stood out about that, and what do you want to do that?
Well, I did come here to major in English, and then I also double majored in psychology.
Oh, that's
as
it.
well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just throw that out there.
Because I wanted to be a writer, and I still do, but I think I also want to become a caregiver as well. So that's why I added the psychology degree.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting cross-section. You have a favorite class or?
It was Intro to Psychology that got me into psychology. So,
wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. Favorite professor?
Dr. Emily Hulick-Ritchie.
Okay.
So we just had Scholar Athlete banquet on Saturday. So DJ was our Scholar Athlete, and Sunday. Sorry, last night. Like eternity ago. Last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was able to ask her favorite professor to be there, and DJ gave a speech. She got a little plaque. So it was just last night. So.
When did you find out you were the Scholar Athlete? What did that mean to you?
A while ago, and it was. I don't know if I was shocked, but. It was an honor for me to receive that recognition, and I'm really thankful for everybody that involved in making that happen.
Who are your greatest basketball influences growing up?
I'll say my father, because he's really hard on me. He played really hard. I don't play like him, but I kind of have his attitude a little bit. Wow.
I found out last night that your grandmother played basketball. She was telling me, she said she never missed her layup. She was like, no. I was so good at layups. That's what she told me.
Yeah. I'd say my dad, Keena Mays, Timberview High School, Alexis Jones, Duncanville High School, Frank Nitti, he played in the Drew League, 3 or 4 time champion. But yeah, just point guards really.
Yeah. So you got hopefully a lot of games left. What's the key down the stretch here? We heard it from coach's perspective, from the player's perspective. You're obviously one that they look up to. What's the not only North Texas but big picture, finishing strong in the tournament and beyond? Hopefully.
I would just say taking it one day at a time, because sometimes I myself tend to look far ahead into the future when I should be being where my feet are, and just one game at a time, one play at a time, just breaking the game down, simplifying it pretty much.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Coach, you got a good one here.
Yeah, she's a great one.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate it.
This has been so fun doing this year. Hopefully do more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me and having my players on with me. Yeah. Means a lot. So looking forward to many more.
Can't wait. A lot of the season left for Rice. Jordan will have the call coming up on Saturday against North Texas, and that's on ESPN Plus as well. More of the Rice House Basketball Show coming up with Coach Perry after this. It's Rice Basketball from Learfield.
Behind every door at Houston Methodist, you know what to expect. Expertise. Whether it's life-saving brain surgery, your 3D mammogram that catches breast cancer sooner, or orthopedic specialists helping you feel stronger than ever. With hundreds of doors across Houston, you can get expert care everywhere.
That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment. 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling, the official beer partner of Rice Athletics, and now available for purchase everywhere in Texas. The Yingling Company, Fort Worth, Texas. Please enjoy responsibly.
The newly renovated Houston Marriott Medical Center Museum District is a proud new sponsor of Rice University Athletics. For visiting families and fans, the closest hotel to Rice University is delighted to offer preferred rates. Guests will enjoy 2 new restaurants, a new exclusive M Club lounge, and complimentary shuttle service within 2 miles of the hotel. Visit Marriott.com to learn more.
Bringing you more Rice Owls men's and women's basketball. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes. Welcome back. We'll have Coach Para coming on here in just a moment. This is the Rice Owls basketball show here in Learfield. I did not get to this at the beginning, but there he is. See, right on time here. We have mentioned the women hosting North Texas coming up Saturday at 2. The men are hosting Temple Wednesday right behind us at Tudor Fieldhouse. At Wichita State coming up. It'll be my first time at Coke Arena coming up on Saturday night. All the games, men and women, on ESPN Plus and the audio channels on the Varsity Network app, the Rice Owls Game Day app, and riceowls.com. Never a doubt, Coach Para, never a doubt.
I mean, I thought I was on time. Sorry to make you nervous there.
No, man.
Something really cool was going on. We had Havinas Cantor speaking to the team right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd that come about?
Through Professor Constantine here at Rice. He has a relationship with him. He reached out to us. And, of course, yes, we'd happy to hear his story and listen to what he has to say. And it was just awesome. And Trav and I were hated to be pulled away, but all new important things here, JP.
Yeah, appreciate it. Those connections are so many here at it's wild. No matter what sport I'm calling, and I mean, obviously I don't get on the academic side of campus. They're wise to keep me away there. I deal mostly with sports, but you never know who you'll run into around here. Right?
That's one of the great things about this place, and being here 10 years now. I'm just that's a great segue into where I was last night. And that was at the student athlete, scholar athlete dinner at the R Room, where they honored 18 just incredible young men and women that are going to not only done so many special things already here, but are going to do incredible things when they leave here. And it's just, that's always one of my favorite nights of the year. And this place never ceases to amaze me. It's just an honor to coach here and to be around, these student athletes. And we obviously have a superstar coming on here tonight that we're very proud of in our program.
Yeah, stay tuned. Travis Eve will be up here in just a bit, but that's a perfect segue because that's where Coach Edmonds left off, so I'll lead off with that. That was on my bullet points here, but Cam Sheffield named your Scholar Athlete of the Year, Max Fiedler, and Jackson Peaks named Honor Athletes. What does that mean? And specifically for Cam, what he's gone through. I talked to his dad briefly after the game on Saturday. He said that meant a lot, and they flew in just for the banquet there.
Yeah, and I'll talk to, we only have 16 guys on the team, so that's 3 of 16. That's pretty good, to have those guys on that. And for Cam, it's kind of, bittersweet in a way because, here's a guy who would have had a really, good senior year, been a big part of this, what we do and, helped us win more games for sure had he been able to play because he's such an integral part of everything. But at the end of the day, he'll eventually get healthy and he's going to have that, award to put on his mantle for the rest of his life, to put on his resume as well. And obviously, he's always going to be a part of the family, and his parents are just special people as well. Just a terrific family, and I'm really proud of Cam.
Yeah. So let's get to the wins. Saturday you had the win against East Carolina, the fewest points allowed. You win 70-52. Since 2014-15, I butchered that phrase, so I'll start over. The fewest points you've allowed in a conference game since 2014-2015. Doing it with the defense, Coach.
I'm pretty proud of that, JP. Yeah. We've certainly over the years, we've built the program on the the green light U tag and our spacing and our scoring, etc. And we've had our challenges defensively, and for us to do something like that is really something cool. That's a cool stat that I was happy to hear today, and I didn't even tell like the first Travis heard that. I didn't tell the team that yet, but and they had 49 until they threw in the three, in the last minute. So I was really proud of our guys. And I think it's 2 games in a row now. We've really defended well, and the defense, that got us, into our run there. We were down 6 at the end of the first half. We shut them out 8-0 to end the half, which gave us the lead going into halftime, and then got stops in the middle, transition. Travis got hot, and we just played one of our better halves of the season. One of the better halves, of my time here. It was just an outstanding day.
Yeah, more about the defense, because when Travis joined me on the postgame, he is a busy guy here going through his litany of interviews. He told me about the trust that's been built up. What goes into that? Because we'll get to the UAB game in a second. That was obviously a strong defensive performance too.
Yeah, I just think, look, the thing we've done well through all of this, ups and downs of this season, is prepared well. We've practiced well. I think the guys, and then you start to see some success, then that builds trust. And we've, talked all year. We want to be playing our best right now, and we are. And I hope, obviously, that will continue. But it all began with our practice today and our preparation and our mental state, and the guys are all in a good place. And we're excited for Wednesday night as well. But we're really, really proud of the week we just had.
So let's talk about the UAB game, and I'll paint a picture. We flew private coming back, and I forget who brought it up first, but we're walking on the runway coming out, going back to our separate ways, and one of us said, well, we won't forget that for a while. The win against UAB, 94-71, was that as an impressive showing of basketball that you've seen, but then you just had what you had Saturday.
I mean, look, to do what we did at UAB is not only hard, for us, it's hard for anybody. And Tim and I were talking after the game, and I asked him the last time they lost by that many points at home, and he said 2001. I mean, put that in perspective. 23 seasons of basketball, nobody has beaten UAB that badly in Bartow Arena. So that was and to score 94 points. I mean, they're such a blue blood program of this. Well, the Conference USA, and now we'll be moving forward in the AAC, and the history they have there to play that well was awesome. Very proud of our guys, and I know they had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, the largest road win overall since 02-03, that margin, 23-point win at UAB. I thought the guys really picked up Max a lot. He was playing through some stuff this week, and he had an amazing game. He almost had the rare scoreless double-double. I was rooting for him to get a couple more rebounds, but how about them picking him up with the effort on Wednesday, and that carried over into him feeling a little bit better, but not too much, and having a great game on Saturday.
Yeah, it was amazing. I before I talked about Travis's, performance, I applauded Max for his toughness. He was in bad shape, and he didn't touch a basketball since whatever the last time he touched it in the UAB game when I took him out, until I put him in, for the jump ball the other night. And that's hard to do. But the good thing about Max being a fifth-year senior, he understands the game. He knows how teams are going to try and guard us, so you can send him film and show him. He picks it up quickly, gets to things, understands all that, and then gives us all he has. And obviously, with Andrew coming on the way he has, we can get him more breaks. And but have 10 assists and no turnovers against a team like that on Saturday was amazing. And the minutes he played against UAB, I didn't think he'd play 12 minutes in either game, and he ended up playing a lot more in both.
Yeah, speak to Andrew Akuche. He joined me on the post game after that big win at UAB. I said, I'm taking credit for that one. We had you on the show, and Coach was talking to you, blah, blah, blah. I mentioned all that. But 18, he almost doubles his career high. And then on Saturday, he gets his career high in rebounds. So things coming together, like you had said, this like a repeat of last week.
Yeah, look, I tell Andrew all the time, and I'll tell anybody that'll listen, how excited I am about him and the whole patience versus, pressure to want to play. You want to have patience because you're developing. as a team, because when it's all over and said and done, you're going to need a large piece of paper to write down all the things they've done that they'll be able to look back on and be really proud of here. But I also know this about Travis and about Max. Nothing has ever mattered more than them winning the games. And that's why I love coaching them both, because I know deep down there's not a fake bone in either of their bodies. It is true, all team, all first, all the time. And how can you not appreciate and enjoy coaching guys like that? I've been blessed, not just to have one of them, but two of them like that for a long time.
Amen to that. I second that. And we'll hear from Mr. Boston himself, Travis Evee. Coming up next, it is the Rice House Basketball Show from Learfield. Randolph Mass. How are we doing? Good. How are you? Good enough. How about a Pelicans brawl, huh?
Yeah, where was Trey?
I didn't see him. I looked at the replay.
He was nowhere near it.
Okay.
He wanted no part of a brawl.
Knows what he's doing.
Huh? Yeah, stay away, Trey. Save some money. That's right. They got suspended, a bunch of them. Yeah, money and suspension.
Did you see the highlights from my A&M Commerce Lions in incarnate order?
Oh, that was wild.
They didn't land anything.
I was just
Like, you don't mess with us Hunt County boys, coach. That's where I went to school. That's what I was calling games before I came here. One time I called a triple technical with A&M Commerce.
Really?
When I was a kid, I was under the stands and there was a fight. So we do some fighting up there in Hunt County.
Wow. I'm not messing with you, JP. I never was going to anyway.
The 3 fights in my life have all been around basketball.
Really?
So, one punch and over.
All right.
For which person? Got to talk a big game with Travis here. I know he's Mr. Toughness here. So.
Can you talk? Can I hear you? Go ahead.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes. Welcome back here. It is the penultimate show. I like using penultimate. Sound like a smart Rice guy. Next week, our last show will be a Para Heath Para exclusive coming up next week with the women traveling. And then you can catch all Al's games on ESPN Plus and on the regular audio channels as well. Joined by the one and only pride of Randolph, Mass, Travis Evee. How are we doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, good. You're going through the car wash, they say in the business. You're doing all the interviews coming around right now.
Yeah,
You've done a few of these before, right?
A couple of them.
Yeah. A few folks commented how they liked you on TV. What was the main focus? The game ends, you go over there, you're doing the nationally televised audience interview. You think about something like that, or you still hopped up on adrenaline from the game?
I think you're still hopped up on adrenaline for a little bit, but on the walk over there, you kind of calm down a little bit. Yeah, you have to calm your nerves a little bit and take a couple of deep breaths before starting the interview.
I didn't see the interview. I got to make sure I check this out.
Yeah, we have got, and I didn't hear it at the time, but Coach Adams, they were into it. Like Travis was getting into it with them. Where do you get your stoic demeanor from? I always talk about you being Mr. Tough and I call you an assassin on the court sometimes. You're drilling those deep ones. Where does that, I know it's the way you're wired, but where do you think that comes from the most?
Probably comes from my dad. He taught me how to play basketball, and he also kind of taught me like the mentality of like winning, how to win like the right way, and staying focused on the task. And then when I got to college, you really figure out how small of a window it is to win a college basketball game, and your mistakes have to be little to none really, especially in a great league like the American. You can't make too many mistakes out there, can't get too ahead of yourself. You kind of gotta, like you said, stay ready to go at all times.
Go ahead.
So I would give him probably one of the biggest compliments I could probably give anybody is that when he's done here, and hopefully I get to coach here for many years moving forward, the definition of an everyday guy is this guy right here. He's been the same literally every day. Every day I've coached him in terms of his focus to improve, his focus to win, his focus to, do whatever it takes to help this program move forward. And, that he knows what that means to me, because I talk about it all the time. And I think I even tweeted it today. I don't know if you saw it, but that's an everyday guy right there.
I'll ask you a version of a question I asked Destiny Jackson in the first segment. If I'd have told you 4 years ago or so you'd be top 5 scorer at Rice, all-time three-point leader, would you believe me?
I probably wouldn't believe you. No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe you. Yeah, the opportunities that I've had here at Rice have been nothing short of tremendous. I'm just super happy that I can do the things that I've done with my teammates.
What clicked? What changed? You obviously came in from VMI with experience, but all the numbers, I need to stress to folks, like we talked about off air, all the Rice numbers are just Rice numbers. They're very impressive, very gaudy. What clicked? Were you able to keep it going, Mr. Steady Hand on the wheel the whole time here?
I think 2 things: my preparation, just the way that I practice, the way that I just continue to get my reps up coming from VMI. I kind of found a routine for me that I liked, and I just been able to stick with it for the past 4 to 5 years. Then the second thing, I think my coaches and teammates have been phenomenal. They trust me. They put me in the right positions to succeed. They push me as well. And I mean, I can't ask for anything more. So those are probably 2 biggest things that have led to most of my success.
Yeah, look, it's been it's hard to believe we're sitting here, with hopefully a bunch more to play, but his final radio show, and hopefully there's some talk and possibility. I'm sure you'll get to this as to what he's going to do next. We still may see more of him. We'll see. We'll see how that all shakes out. But I'm just glad, when you recruit somebody, JP. He was, the minute he became available, he was like priority one. And the story has been, told before, but it was like, I remember Derek was on the staff at that time, and it was COVID, and it was crazy. I was outside of my pool, pacing around the pool every day. How we get Travis, we got to get Travis. I have to have Travis. He's such a key to what we want to do. And then when you get him, and then when you get somebody like this, and then he exceeds your expectations and becomes more, than you could ever even think of or hope for. That to me, it's what it's all about. In his career here, we've had so many great wins, so many great memories, so many tough losses that play a part of the experience, that he's had here that's made him, better and a leader that I hope he'll take with him, into the real world, because we talk about handling adversity all the time, and he does a really good job of that, and really is even more determined in the next game after we lose tough ones to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Do you have a win or 2 that stand out the most?
Come on, one's easy.
We've had some good ones. I think one that stands out, winning at North Texas was really cool. Just the success that they've had and how hard of a place it is to play there.
How about UTEP here? Come on.
Oh, yeah,
That's what I thought you'd say right away.
Extra motivation.
That was an unbelievable one.
That was a good one. They've had some good conference tournament wins too.
Yeah.
Back in CUSA, so a lot of good wins to pick from.
Well, Coach left it hanging out there, put it on the team. Even I can hit it. What is the big reveal? I guess I don't know. Like what?
Well, I don't know if it's
what
a
are the
real.
plans?
There's just things going on, and he may have an option to be around here again next year, depending on what he wants to do. He's going to finish up the second year of his NBA, right? And if he chooses to not play and finish it up, then hopefully he'll be a GA and stay a part of the program.
Okay.
If he chooses to go play, then hopefully he'll go make some money and play and finish it. Is that accurate? I don't want to speak for you.
Right on.
Yeah. So Coach Evie down the line, is that kind of what you see?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
So.
I don't want to answer it for you, but I think you'll be a little less fiery on the sideline than Pete.
I was just going to ask you what traits of mine are you going to use as a coach? He'll probably say
that was too easy, Coach.
He'll say none.
Yeah, I don't know if I could be as fiery as Pete. Pete would be on the sideline. We might be opposite.
We are. That's all right. That's why it works so well.
Yeah. So.
What's the funny? You got a little immunity built up now. I always said that when Coach Graham, legendary baseball coach we had, I'd always say, "Hey, you got immunity from Coach now." What's the funniest thing he's ever? Because people don't always ask me about. Hey, he's really funny. He's really funny. What's the funniest thing he's done or said in either a game or a practice or a trip? I've got an idea. I don't think I can say it, but you go ahead. I'll let you answer.
We've had some funny moments, Coach Pete. Let's see it go on. there's been some times where I don't know if you really notice it. I don't know if you notice it either. So when we come to timeouts, Coach B gets on the stool. Like he sits on the stool, and I think a unique way that most coaches don't. He kind of like hurdles over the stool, and like the stool didn't really open, and like he was kind of fumbling with it. He was just frustrated. And
it went down the one time, right? See, the things they make fun of me, JP, that I don't even know about, that's what these stories are good for.
Rice kids are perceptive, Coach.
I know. I got to be very careful.
Yeah. Finally, Travis, I don't ask this to many athletes, but you're such an indelible one that will live on a long, long time here with all the records and whatnot. What do you want folks to remember about you the most when they think about your time here? Because there's numbers and there's stats, but what do you want folks to remember about you?
Yeah, I think the numbers and stats, they're great and whatnot, but I think what's most important for me is just for people to remember that I was a good person, a good teammate to my 15 other brothers in that locker room, good player, and person to be around for my coaches as well, people in the training room. That's probably the biggest thing for me, just people remember me that I was a good person, treat everybody the same, treat everybody, as if they were, my best friend. So
He doesn't have to worry about that.
No, he doesn't.
Every single person here will think that of him.
Yeah.
And if they don't, shame on them.
Yeah, they weren't paying attention.
That's
at
right.
all.
That's a fact.
Hey, honor calling your mini threes, and hopefully a few more this season. Thanks, Trav.
Sir.
Appreciate you having me. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you.
Warner, a Yankees and a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
coexisting right here.
But those fights will start more when he graduates for good.
Thanks for joining us here on the Rice House Basketball Show. We'll be back next. I think Coach and I will be able to fill it. Do we have any teases? Do we know?
Who knows you never know what we'll come up with on the final show, JP.
This guy here. We'll leave it up to him. We'll see who our great guest is. Rice this week hosting Temple and at Wichita State. All those on ESPN Plus and the regular audio channels. Thanks to Walter here, Clara back in the studio, Jumpin' Joe for setting up the brightest ring light I have seen in creation. Have a great rest of this night. God bless. Go Owls Rice Fight. We'll talk to you next week. The Rice House Basketball Show from Learfield.
Thanks, JP. Thanks, Trav.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks, Trav.
Walter, thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
How's that Red Sox rotation looking?
Terrible. They're not very good.
I haven't been following.
Their all season wasn't that great.
You know, Brock Holt was a Rice guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Clay Buckholz, is that too old for you?
No,
I called his games in JUCO.
all right.
Yeah, he was a wild child, though, so he couldn't have got into Rice.
No. Yeah, I'm looking forward to whenever I go back home. Hopefully it's during.
Never gone to Fenway.
No?
I love going to Fenway.
Fenway's cool. As much as I hate to admit it.
Went to Cooperstown, my
Fenway's
dad,
cool.
a couple summers ago.
Fenway's cool.